Okay, I have 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and open the special adoption meeting. So, all 3 council members are present, Daniel, Jim, and myself. I will make a motion to suspend the rules according to IC Code 365-2-9.8 for the council to consider adopting ordinance number 2025-4. Do I have a second? Jim will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I will make a motion to pass ordinance 2025-4. Same ordinance.
I'll second that again.
Jim seconds that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nay. Dan, did you vote on the second motion?
Yeah, sorry. That was pretty pathetic.
Okay. So the motion carries to pass the ordinance. I will now close the adoption meeting and open the regular meeting.
On this, can you guys, we need this signed and you definitely need to mark how you voted. So I have to upload that.
Brenda used to carry a pen around all the time in a little pocket right here. That's what I like.
Did you mark I on there? Did you mark?
Oh shoot, I just signed in your spot. Let me just mark that out. Alright.
Okay, so now we will open the regular meeting, saying 3 board members are present. First on the agenda is approval of minutes.
And there is a correction on there. I accidentally wrote Mr. Schultz's name incorrect on the back, so that is to be corrected to Mr. Keith Schultz. And I also spelled his last name wrong too, I just see, so.
With the corrections, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for September 9th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion by Jim to accept the minutes, second by Daniel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is payment of claims.
I'm sorry, who's seconding that?
Defense was good. Defense was good.
The claim for the Christmas lights is on there. I wanted you to be aware. And it's per the contract. It's been paid out of economic development, so it's on page 3. It's usually, like around Thanksgiving, because the Christmas walk used to be closer to that time. So it's usually,
A
but no,
little
they
bit
don't,
earlier last year though.
they might have been, but they don't give me a date, they just show.
I thought it was earlier last year.
Yeah, we had that stretch of good weather and they showed up, I think. I had better weather.
I think we forgot to do this. That's too late.
I'll make a motion to pay the claims for town and sewage.
Second. Motion by Jim, second by Dan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
You guys hear that sound, right?
It's my radio.
Okay.
Test picture. No,
Okay, next will be the town marshal monthly report. Okay, and say,
I do have stuff to say.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
I just didn't know if you guys have anything about the report.
Well, we'll pick that up.
Okay, perfect. There's some minor things, some major things, whatever. Just curious if we could bump vacation days from 12 to 15 and PTO from 64 to 80, just for a couple perks for the job. And then get them all the days and hours of the first of the year, so it's easier for Karen to keep track of. Karen and I have kind of discussed it, and she thinks it would be easier for her not to have to keep track of them monthly. So that's a fairly easy one. The next one, not so much. Our computers, my two computers in the back are not compatible for Windows 11, and they just stopped covering Windows 10 today. So I got some quotes, she got some quotes, Bishop from Florida went with Sound Advice for all his laptops and desktops. So we called them today. It's gonna be about $1,010 per computer for mine back there. They'll come in and switch everything for us for like $135 an hour. Mine's not gonna be as bad as hers. I don't need as much stuff switched over. She did set up security for hers for an extra year, but I figure if we're gonna get them all done, you know, Sound Advice come in and just do them all at the same time. But we're looking at right around, probably altogether, $2,500 to $3,000 to get my stuff done in the back. So that's,
So what I'm hearing you say is that you need a new computer.
I need 2 new computers.
You need two new
Two
computers.
years.
And then I will need one,
And then
so
Three computers.
all of their, yeah, they're not compatible with Microsoft 11, it says that on there.
I have tried everything.
And they're like $1,000 a piece.
At 1010 per computer, and then for them to come switch everything over for us to be $135 an hour.
Well, how much will it cost to switch yours over?
To switch over?
Yeah, because yours has got a lot more.
It might take a little bit more time. I have a lot of things, on the Microsoft 365, so it shouldn't be.
That should be.
It should, but I'm, you know, for the things that
Right.
aren't on there.
Do you have the money anywhere?
We looked at his appropriation, he's fine. For office supplies, we have to do a transfer. But we've got the money to transfer to that to do it.
I'll make a motion, we get the computers.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Daniel to get 2 or 3?
All three.
All 3. Computers, Jim second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Wasn't that hard?
No?
Don't keep asking for stuff.
You're done.
Right. I keep getting emails from the academy. They are way short on Evo instructors. So I didn't know if it would be okay for me to go down and help out. I think they're short the next month and a half, like 30-some Evo instructors.
It's just like
So-
3 days.
It's actually a week, but if you tell me to go 3 days, I'll go 3 days and then work the other two or whatever. I'm cool with whatever. And I will let you guys know when I'm going and what I'm doing and whatnot, if that's okay.
I have no problems with you going for the week. It helps out training, obviously, so.
Alright. I do have one more guy that wants to come in as part-time, but according to the rule that Karen has said, if we go to the 5th guy, you guys would have to offer comp or overtime to me. Is it possible just to offer comp, knowing that I'm gonna keep the schedule that I'm on and work my 40 hours without overtime and get this other guy hired? If not, I'll work with what I got and then
Who's the other guy?
Darren Nicole. Bishop's gonna come back
He is no.
in November. He's gonna work midnights, some midnights, so we'll have someone on from like 11 to 3. And I'm good on hours and pay for part-time. I still have plenty and it's October. The only catch is if we just switched RMS to Caliber Mobile. And now Caliber Mobile and RMS are separate, but they work together because we're all online now. Everybody's online. I'm gonna do some checking, but I think I would have to pay because Mike only got so many licenses for that. We're actually working, my part-timers now work under just CAD, so they can't run any IDACs, they can't run license plates or anything, they have to do it through dispatch, but they can still get on CAD and see where all the calls and stuff are. I would have to pay for the RMS, which is $192 for the year for my one guy. Until the county decides they're not gonna pay for it, then I'll have to figure something out. So,
How big's the comp time gonna be for you, Karen?
It's gonna take me some research, it's gonna take an amendment to the salary ordinance to do that. And then contacting Keystone to figure out how to facilitate them. Yeah.
So-
There's gonna be some, cause we've never done that before.
Right.
So there's gonna be some learning on my part to.
and like I told Karen with the comp time, really the only time that I will run into it is at the end of the pay period. Because it ends on Saturday, if something comes in on a Friday or I'm working on a Saturday, and I have to work more hours than the 80 hours, what do I do with the extra hours that I get because I don't get them next week? I think I've ran into that twice maybe since I've been here, so.
Okay. My suggestion, we'll table the extra guy, the PTO vacation days, so we can get together and talk.
Okay.
And then we'll get back with you.
Perfect. And then, yeah, just info, the 17th through the 23rd, I will not be here. We leave, I'll be here Friday and Saturday, not here, but I'll be in Indiana Friday and Saturday. We leave for vacation on Sunday, and I'll be back Wednesday.
Sorry, you didn't give us a month advance.
Okay.
He cleared it with the boss.
Other than that, that's all I have.
How's things, everything else going?
Great. I feel like traffic's really slowed down coming through. As you can see, my numbers keep going down steadily. I don't know what my part-time, I don't know if dispatch is giving me just my numbers or if my part-time guys are actually included in this. I asked for them all, but I don't know. So I'm hoping I can figure it out with this new CAD that I can just pull everything myself. I think so. But we've also been told on other
I
stuff.
know that.
I do want to bring up, just in case you guys are confronted with it out in public, the county's only coming to Burlington for emergency calls. If it's not an emergency call or if it's not in progress and I'm not on, they're pending it for me for the next day. There's been a couple questionable calls that I felt they probably should have went on, but they didn't. But
And we just had that in Camden today.
yeah, so just in case you're confronted with it out there, that's what is going on if they're trying to figure out.
Is that like a new policy or something?
I don't even know that it's a policy.
It's not a policy, but it's an unwritten
Yes.
thing.
It's
They're doing it with all the small communities. It's got any police department.
They are doing it?
Yes.
Like, why?
Even Florida, they're doing it in Florida.
Yes.
Because
It's a culmination of a lot of
the
things. I
sheriff's
think.
department is being stretched to its limits.
Yeah.
So that's how they're trying to combat some of it.
So if it's not an emergency call, which I've had a couple that I feel are probably right on the edge of being an emergency, not an emergency call, but something that needs to be taken care of like now, instead of waiting for me on Monday. So, but I just wanted you guys to have a heads up, so if you're at the gas station and someone comes up to you and says, hey, I waited 6 hours for a cop and nobody ever came, and finally Shane called me on Monday, that's why.
I have had somebody ask me about it, but it was not on the call, they were just asking about it. And I flat out told them to call the sheriff. They're responsible if we don't have somebody on.
That's, I mean, I feel like we've had the most coverage we've probably had in a long time with my 2 part-timers that are working and me here every day, and, but if a call comes in there, if it's non-emergent, then you're gonna have to wait for me. Or Hobbs or whoever comes on in the evening. So,
Make a motion to approve the marshal's report.
Second.
Motion by Joe, second by Daniel.
what's
that?
Are you done?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Been here since 9:30.
No comment.
All right, that's all right. Thanks, guys.
See you.
To you.
It's up to you.
Well, we got the new batteries put in the speed sign out here, it's working like it's supposed to. My trim saw works great.
Does it?
Yep, I've done a lot of trimming around town. Yeah, been getting leaf back ready to go. The pumps are working good. So, everything's doing pretty good. Oh, we did have that pipe cleaned out from the outlet out there to the pond,
Okay.
and that helped a bunch.
Did it have a bunch of stuff in it?
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, 40 years worth,
Right.
yeah, we got a lot of black stuff out there.
That was before dude wipes.
Yeah, but that's working good, and all that pumps and everything works great.
Good. You're happy with all that?
Yep. Yep.
Good deal.
You ready for winter?
I don't think it's gonna get one.
I don't either, but
It'll come.
as soon as we're not ready, it's gonna be here.
It'll come.
Hopefully we get some precipitation
You
of
got
some
it.
kind.
Yeah.
Sand, plenty of sand, and
Yeah, I got some salt and sand stuff out there, so we're good there. I can always go get more if I need it. You know.
no, I know.
I don't wanna get any more, I wanna get this used up, because some of that's been in there for 2-3 years.
That's good.
Used up.
We're glad, we're happy about that. You're not happy about that.
Next Monday, they're supposed to come cut this dead tree.
Okay.
They finally called me yesterday.
Why did we decide on the one out here on 500 a day?
Well, I talked to Gary Kroom earlier in the year, and he said something about they're gonna clean that fence
Oh,
up.
that's right, you did say that.
And I haven't seen him, when I asked him if he's still gonna do that.
Okay. Yeah, that's right, you did say that.
That's all you got.
That's pretty much it.
Wow.
I'm gonna check into a price on a couple of tires for the tool cat on the front. When we got that machine, it had turf tires on it, and they took them off, so they didn't have any new ones.
So,
So I'm gonna see what kind of deal they can give me over there. They really owe us a set of tires. But we'll see what they say.
Maybe they will.
Walmart even sells those tires.
Do they really?
Yeah, $134 a piece. That's not now for nothing.
No.
And those aren't easy now.
wouldn't think.
They're pretty
They're
stiff.
so stiff.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Guess we'll move on to our first guest, which is Jim Higgins with London White Group.
That would be me. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
No, thank you.
Karen asked me to come and just to talk briefly about the impacts of Senate Enrollment Act 1, which is a property tax relief bill, how we know it, right, as individuals, but it's also the let's take money out of local government bill. is what I refer to it as. I'll break it down into 3 sections. So the first piece, and I shared some information with you. I gave you a small handout that was part of the Coach School from the DLGF. It's the multi-page kind of PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, that's for reading at your leisure. I mean, basically what that does is talk about the big changes for 2026. And what that impacts primarily is the circuit breaker. Because they changed some of the credits that were given to taxpayers on their property taxes. They used to be deductions of assessed value. So think of it as above the line before you figure out what your net assessed is, and then taxable. Changed all of those deductions to credits. And so now if you get a veteran's credit or an age credit or an income credit, you calculate your tax, you apply it to the circuit breaker, and the credits come off after that at the bottom. So the net effect is a lower tax bill to the taxpayer. Also, the governor's 10% or $300 credit for every homestead. What that does is it takes your circuit breaker loss that in 2025 was about $130, give or take, which is one of the lowest circuit breaker losses in the state. When I looked at it, I was surprised that it was so low. But it takes it to over $6,000 is what they're estimating for 2026. So it's a huge increase of circuit breaker loss. That's the first phase that I think happens that you'll see in 2026. Kind of the second shoe that falls is the change that will happen in 2028 of local income tax. Because local income tax, as we know it today, goes away at the end of 2027. It will be replaced by new income taxes that are still being tweaked, and I understand the legislature is going to deal with those come this session. But I did a really quick analysis for you on my little 2-page handout to show that you're getting local income tax in 2026 of about $97,000 between the certified shares that the county shares with you for the general fund and your economic development income tax, your one lid. As it stands now, when those taxes go away, it can be replaced if the county chooses to, right? You would ask the county because of your population, you're not at 3,500. So you would petition the county and ask them to adopt a local income tax. They could make that rate as high as 1.2%. So I did a quick calculation based on your lit, assuming it's all distributed the same. You would lose $97,000 in income tax. You would pick up $78,000 in income tax. You would lose $20,000.
If they do the tax.
If they do the tax, and if they do it at the full level. And this is part of the unknown, right? So the good news is this doesn't happen until 2028. And why I say that's good is because there's this legislative session, which is a short session, that I think they're going to tweak around the edges. And there's the following session, which is a long budget session after a new election of representatives, so there may be some other changes that occur. They've already recognized there are some big problems with what they did. The first problem in the current iteration is you would have to reauthorize, or the county would have to reauthorize the income tax every year. It's not like a set it and forget it. Well, that's a problem for some communities that have pledged that income tax to bond payments. Because it changes the dynamic, and the rating agencies have come in and said, we're not buying that. So I think that's the first change that we'll see come out of this session, is that it'll go back to a set it and forget it, unless you're going to increase or decrease the rate. So you won't have to go through that gymnastics activity every year. But I still think there's an issue on what people were told the income tax was going to be and what it's become. Because what they told people was, we're going to increase all these credits, we're going to give property tax relief to the taxpayers, and we're going to give you the opportunity to raise income tax to make up for that. What they didn't tell you was they were taking the current income tax away. So their income tax replacement doesn't even make up for what you had. So how can you make up for what you lost on the property tax side? I mean, it's a double hit. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. The third thing that I think is there is on the flip side of the page. And that is the change in the property tax system that changes the makeup from a residential homestead of what was a standard deduction and then a supplemental homestead deduction. And so I showed an analysis on a $200,000 home of what that looks like today and what that will look like in 2030. Because what happens between 2026 and 2030 is the standard deduction goes down, the supplemental homestead goes up. And eventually what you get to in 2030 is 2/3 of the value of that property will be exempt. So a $200,000 property is going to assess for 1/3 of that. Additionally, where the change comes in is non-homestead and ag land, which never had a deduction before, is going to wind up between 2026 and 2030, getting 1/3 of their assessed value will go away. So what's going to happen is your assessed value will shrink, which will drive up tax rates in order to maintain levy. Now that should be okay because you pay a higher tax rate on a lower assessed value. So it may be a wash to a taxpayer. But where you'll see the impact is in your CUME funds, because those are rate control funds. So your CCD fund and your CUME fire fund. You will see those, because I doubt that they're going to change the rate that can be adopted. You'll see those decrease by 1/3 over the next 5 years, which is a significant, I mean, this goes back to their idea is you just need to learn to do more with less. And I can tell you had less to start with, right? I mean, you're not the people that they're targeting on the overspending, the big cities, but they're throwing everybody into a bucket. I think it's still fluid. I think there's still opportunity for change over time, but I think that you just need to be aware of it. I mean, the first thing, I think a $6,000 hit, if that's what it turns out to be, and the circuit breaker loss isn't so bad, right, over the course of a year or two to absorb that. The rest of it, I think we just need to wait and see what it looks like. But others are taking drastic steps because it means tens of millions of dollars to their budget. I don't think it means that much to you, but it's probably just as impactful because your budget's small to start with. So I wanted to just present that so that you were aware of it, put it on your radar screen, and answer any questions that you might have.
So it looks like, from what you presented here, that the best case scenario is that we're gonna lose about $25,000 that's the best case scenario.
That's the best case scenario.
The worst case is we could lose $103,000.
Yes. I seriously doubt that the county doesn't do some type of replacement. They get to adopt their own tax, they get to adopt a tax for the locals. And then it's a matter of how it gets distributed. That's the part that I struggle with. Because the Department of Revenue is set up to know what people in the county make when you file your taxes. I don't think they have the software in place to be so granular to say, well, this is what the people in Burlington make when they file their returns. And so you're going to get into this when they adopt a local rate. That local rate will get spread across everybody in the county. And then the people that don't live in a municipality, that don't live in Burlington or Flora or wherever, they're going to wind up, that tax that's paid by those folks in the unincorporated areas could be captured by the county to fund its operations. So the county may play well here. Right. That they'll get their 1.2 or whatever, plus a piece of the local piece, because the person in the township isn't going to pay a local tax rate if they're not in a municipality. So that would flow to the county. So the DLGF released 2 weeks ago it's tentative rules for how they view the tax change. But they were very upfront and said, these don't go into effect until 2028. There are 2 legislative sessions between now and then, and do not rely on this as what's going to happen, because we know it's going to change.
But right now, this is the law, right?
Right now, this is the law. So there's the law, and then they're trying to figure out how to interpret the law.
That's what
So-
I think, I don't see how we can, if it actually is the law, if they were still doing the thing, but it is the law. So you're saying that maybe they'll change the law.
I think they have to change the law because there's some flaws. This was adopted, I'll say this, haphazardly. And I think the whole idea was to bring property tax relief. That was promise made, promise kept. I think when they did it, they didn't think through the impacts to what they've done. And I think certain people believe, oh, well, we'll let you raise income tax to offset that. But that's not what happens, because they also made other changes to the income tax. So I think they'll figure it out. I think if they don't get it all figured out in this short session, then they'll figure it out in the long budget session before it goes into effect. Because when you talk about, in effect, January 1st, 2028, that's 2 full legislative sessions to make changes.
Didn't you go to a hearing like with the county where they were talking about this?
That was regarding local income taxes for EMS and whether they were going to adopt a rate for that or pull from the units. But they ended up, they're gonna adopt a rate. So taxes, county taxes will go up. Income taxes will go up to help pay for EMS. That's what that was regarding.
So it didn't have nothing to do with this?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in the comment a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I noticed that they said that they're adopting an income tax for EMS for basically not capital equipment, for salaries and all that.
Wasn't part of the law though that for next year, for the 2027 budget, there was something with a hearing or an extra hearing that had to be had or something like that?
So that's, if this lives on, right, this is the other really bizarre thing. Right now, the state gives you a levy growth quotient. Like this year, your levy could grow 4%. Yours doesn't because the county adopted an income tax rate for levy growth. So you don't see a growth in your levy, you get a property tax payment that makes up for that. But in other communities, they get a 4% levy growth, and it's automatic. It just happens. Well, they're saying that what will happen in 2027 or 2028, it's still unclear which year it occurs. Your levy growth isn't automatic. That you could increase your levy by up to 4%. But in order to do that, you would have to have a special public hearing prior to your budget public hearing. And the sole purpose of that meeting can be for nothing more than to discuss the need and get the public's input on increasing the levy and what that would be used for. So when you talk about your budget process, you had your public hearing in September for your adoption today. You would have to have, if we get off of the income tax and you get regular levy growth going forward, you would have to have a public hearing in August to talk about whether or not you were going to increase your levy. And that meeting would have to occur 10 days prior to the public hearing and have to be advertised 10 days in advance. So you'd be 20 days prior to that. So you're back to adding a full month to the calendar, which means Karen has to have her budget work done a month sooner. And in order to have this conversation, this is where people don't think. In order to have the conversation about do we need a budget levy increase or not, you would almost have to have 2 budgets. Here's what we can fund with a levy increase, and if we don't get a levy increase, here's what we're not going to fund. And I think that's a challenge. It's hard enough to do 1 budget, but then to have to do 2, and then have a conversation, and then have a public hearing, which I don't know how many people were here last month for your public hearing, but I would venture to say it was no bigger than this one, right?
here for that.
I mean, so, again, I'm not quite sure of why they're doing that, but I think that's another one of those items that could be changed between now and the time it goes into effect.
But at this time, it would not affect us though, because we do have that levy.
Right, but again, all those income taxes go away in 2027, so I think you go back to a regular levy cycle. And I don't think they contemplated that your taxes are based, your income taxes are based on the levy growth too. That you're one of those communities that actually have a levy growth component in the income tax. So yeah, it wasn't well thought out. It was put together rather quickly and passed without a lot of hearings. So I think it's going to be a fun time in the legislature the next two sessions.
Forgive my ignorance, but I think what I'm hearing you say is that once this goes away, that we could raise a tax here?
You could, yes, you should be able to. I believe that without the income tax, right? Without that piece, I think then you would get back to levy growth. Where I think you get hurt, you froze your levy at one time and said, we're gonna make it up with income tax, right? Everybody else's levy has grown. I don't think that you're gonna get a catch-up to go from here to here, right? Because of where the income tax kind of fed that piece. Because if you did that, then the people here would actually see a tax increase. And so I think that this is part of the conversation with the legislature. You're hurting communities that chose not to raise property taxes before. It's like we held the line on property tax. Now you're taking away our income tax support. And now we're harmed because we could have gotten more money. So I think there are too many little nuances for all the different, the 300 plus cities and towns across the state and the 92 counties that they didn't work through in a one size fits all. So 40 years of doing this is the worst I've ever seen local government get treated. And without being able to find answers.
I appreciate your candor, because it really helps me understand it a lot better, for sure.
Well, I barely understand, right? So I mean, that's the problem. I thought I used to really be able to put my hand on this stuff, and I can't. And if I think I know, in 3 months they're gonna meet again and change something else, and I'm gonna have to scramble to figure out what that does. So, I think just be patient and we'll figure it all out together. But it's gonna be an interesting 2 years.
I agree.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Oh, you're welcome, my
Appreciate it.
pleasure. Oh, I had to come, I needed to see the building.
Okay.
He helped us get did you help get the loan, right?
I did.
Yes, helped us get the
I thought you
loan
were part of that.
and helped also with the reestablishment of the cumulative rates that we pay now.
That you now have.
Yeah.
Well, again, thanks for coming out. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Okay. Moving on, we'll go to Mr. Wells for economic development.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not sure if you have a copy of the annual.
Karen, just email
Yeah.
out everyone.
Perfect.
It always comes up, we're giving the EDC some money. What are you doing with it? This is a recap of the past year, what actions we've done. And James will go into more detail.
Yep. And again, we're heading to the third year of our 4-year contract that the EDC has with the town of Burlington. So the first area that I'm going to cover is the broadband infrastructure. Update on that. We received some questions, and thank you, Karen, for passing that along. About broadband updates. So the EDC continues to work with several providers to expand high-speed internet access throughout the town of Burlington. The first one, Broadway Broadband with Miami Cast. Our REMC has installed fiber through the town and is preparing for service activation. The company reports that they are currently setting up customer accounts and will be fully operational once power is connected to the main hub. According to their most recent public update, customers may expect roughly a 3 to 4 month wait before service becomes available. The second provider, Comcast and Xfinity, is nearing completion of its network build out in Burlington and expects to begin offering broadband, cable, and related services soon. And the third provider, Mainstream Fiber Networks, has been provisionally awarded a broadband service areas through state and federal programs pending a final federal approval. No construction timeline has been announced yet since pending that federal approval. So overall, broadband expansion in Burlington continues to progress across multiple providers, and through the EDC, we're going to continue to coordinate with them to keep the town council up to date.
Now, has any of because the broadband is bringing in the backbone. That's what's running up and down. Backbone is the mass movement. Now, then you have to deal with tapping into the backbone and bringing all of it to the homes. Has anybody been talking to you? None of the companies have been talking. Okay. So, that's one thing we need to do is if they're wanting to distribute within the community, we need to give them a nudge to come in and talk with you folks on what their plans. Because it directly impacts the people you represent. So, maybe taking that as an action item. We'll go on.
At the broadband, just to cover more economic and community development highlights that have strengthened over the year between Burlington and the county as a whole. We've supported the child care expansion that included a $10,000 grant awarded to the Burlington Church of Christ, which is being used to update its playground area and serve more local families. We've also engaged with the Early Learning Alliance and the Children's Garden Early Learning Center, which is adding 68 new child care seats countywide.
Yeah, it's open to the whole county.
And then on the healthcare side, the Carroll County EDC continues working with regional hospital partners and local clinics to expand access to urgent care and essential health services for residents. And then finally, countywide, the Carroll County EDC is working on strategic planning, agricultural support through our partnership with the Kankakee Iroquois. It's CURPSI, it's a regional I'm missing the last 3 acronyms of that, of all the acronyms I've had to learn over the last 2 months. But CURPSI and the Carroll County EDC is continuing to work on initiatives aligned with the Central Wabash Valley Regional Growth Plan to position the entire county for a long-term investment. So to just sum up, Burlington continues to benefit from the active partnership and county level initiatives aimed at improving the areas of infrastructure, supporting families and child care, and enhancing the quality of life for the town of Burlington and the county. So we're going to continue to remain committed to closely working with town leadership and the local partners as well. So.
Now, one thing you'll see on what was emailed to you is the leadership. I highly recommend, I'm in the twilight, so I'm on my way out. But the younger folks and whatnot, for taking leadership positions within the county, every 2 years they run this structured class on how to and do that.
I'm a graduate.
Huh?
I graduated. I took the class.
Good deal. I'd just like to encourage.
I would encourage everybody to take it. It's a good class.
Yeah. That, the board members, if they have the time or whatnot, do that, or any of the influential folks in the town. The ministers, the whatever, that it's open to everyone.
They still on Wednesdays.
Pardon?
They still do it on Wednesdays.
Not sure what they're gonna do. Right now, we're just in the planning. It'll happen next year. I don't think we had it go this year. It's every 2 years it runs. But that's it's a very good, Kevin, you can speak to it. It's a very good structure to get
Well, it is.
people involved in the community and how to lead.
Very good class. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Now, one thing that's not on this, and I had talked about it, and hopefully whenever they get it done, we can bring it back to the board. But there was a very comprehensive evaluation for SK Hynix over there to try to bring, I don't want to say suppliers, whatever, support folks to Carroll County. And they did it by towns. And there is a section with Burlington, and you can see where, as a community, how you stack up against the Flora, the Delphi, the Camdens. It's kind of eye-opening, to be very honest. It hasn't been finalized. I've seen several drafts, but I think it would be very educational for the board to really get a finger on the pulse of where you stand.
Probably not very good.
I'm not arguing with you. So,
That's all I have.
I don't know, do you have any other questions or what their information you would like back from the EDC? We're here to help.
Well, I would like RMC, I had no idea they were even in Burlington. I had no idea they were accepting customers already. That's the first I'd heard of that.
Yeah, see, out in I live on Homestead Acres. I have they had the cable run from my place back in November last year. They've been out and did the drop to my house. I'm still waiting for them to come connect.
Oh, so you are hooked up?
No, I'm waiting to be connected.
It's hooked to your house.
Yeah, the fiber is to my house.
You're just not alive.
It's, well, they allege it's live out there. It's just is to the modem where I can get to with my computer.
Just run your line out there.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to go from light to electrical. So, anyway, hopefully you find this interesting, and I'm going to be pushing that this is an annual. This is the first time that I know it's come to the community yet, but I'm going to push for it's an annual thing to come to you, a summary of what we did for you. You gave us money. We owe you an explanation of what we did.
I agree.
Thank you.
And thank you again for being our representative.
Well,
I hear good things about you all the time.
well,
Yep.
you know, I'm up for renewal.
Please say you're gonna run again.
Oh, I already have. It's
Okay.
just, your organization needs to send to EDC saying, this is our, representative we'd like to have for the next 2 years.
Just a letter.
Yeah.
Can you do
Yeah, you vote on it.
that? I know.
Yeah, you have to vote on
I
it,
know.
but
Do we need to make a motion? Do we do it later?
I love it later.
I'm gonna say it's still kind of
yeah, because they go through
early.
December, but I know toward the end of the year, things get hectic.
Not with Karen. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business, September 2025 payroll allowance docket.
Second.
Jim made the motion, Daniel seconded it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Community crossing grant update.
We were hopeful Ken Smith was gonna stop by today. We had not seen him, but the grant opened October 1st for community crossings. And you guys had discussed about, when you guys met, doing those portions of streets. And then he was gonna get with us, to get the ball rolling on that. He says he's got some stuff ready, but like I said, we thought he was gonna stop by today, and we've not heard from him. So the grant is due, at the end, I think it's October 31st is when it's due by. So hopefully we'll hear something and it'll go through and then we'll see if we get it. So that's the update I have.
Resolution 2025-5, reduction of appropriations.
So part of this, in anticipation, because originally these monies were appropriated thinking that they might do a community crossing grant this year, but with legislative changes, they held back on, I think it was the July, originally it was July. So that got changed. Anyways, in order to have the money free for 2026, money needs to be reduced for 2025. Because it won't be used this year. So this just frees that money in the motor vehicle highway fund to be able to use towards that grant and that project in 2026. So that's what this resolution is for.
So, do we have a motion?
Well, you don't have to do this with the resolution.
So I can make a motion to accept the resolution 2025-5, the reduction of resolution appropriations. Do I have a second?
So, second, or someone, what, did you make the motion?
I made the motion.
Okay.
Daniel seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is a request, I assume by Karen, to write up 2 old sewage account balances.
Yeah, so I don't know, did you guys see my email?
Yes.
I said that in there, that made sense. So these are just old, the people have moved. I actually mailed the letters out last year, so they're well over the 180 days. And so the total is $168. And it's $40 on 105 East 8th Street and $128 on 1109 Jackson for previous owners. So,
Make a motion, we accept the 2 write-offs of the sewage bills.
Second.
Jim seconded it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is set Halloween trick or treat hours.
What was the last year?
I think we did 5 or it's 5:30.
I think it was 5:30 to 7:30.
I thought it was 5:30 to 7:30 because we tried to do it before it was dark.
And it's on Friday this year,
Right.
so I don't know if there's a football game.
There is a home football game, probably, too.
Just keep the same.
I like the 5:30, because it gets them home early and before it gets dark and have any problems, but, so.
Yeah, I like keeping it the same too, so people don't get confused.
I would say 5:30 to 7:30, 5:30 to 7:30?
5:30, 7:30.
Let's do that. It's Friday.
Yeah. Actually, we have an away game that night, so, right? So, make sure then, come back. No, it'll be home if we're still playing, we'll be home. Okay. Any miscellaneous business that we need to take care of?
Did you sell your house or buy a house?
I did
You did?
buy a house. I haven't sold my house.
Oh.
I'm still a resident of Burlington as of today. Unless you would like to buy one, I would be glad.
I would like to buy one, but I mean, it's not ready for that yet.
Make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.